Okay, everybody, it's Fantasy Author's Handbook Phil here. Finally sitting down to record the long promised, long awaited March 2024 book haul. These are books purchased by me, or at least that came to me, that arrived from various parts of the world in the month of March 2024. It's like well into April when I'm recording this, so sorry about that. Just been busy, very, very busy. Let's dive right into it. These are books that I bought in March 2024, starting with the books that I buy. Every Wednesday I buy a book, usually from Amazon, but not always. So there's just like a minimum of 4 books that show up every month. These are these 4. This has been on my list for a little while. This is Galactic Pot Healer by Philip K. Dick. Right? Pretty cool. In the current Mariner trade paperback edition, nothing vintage or collectible about this or anything. I bought this brand new. And at this point right now, I'm just kind of collecting Philip K. Dick books. I've read some. I have a bunch. I have Ace Doubles by Philip K. Dick, which I just read one. You saw that. Or you will actually see that in the April video. I just have heard so much about this crazy concept, goofy title. The book originally published in 1969. Again, this is a brand new current edition. Hard to resist this, right? And also, just as a Philip K. Dick fan who needs to read more, needs to read the rest of the PKD canon, here we go. Galactic Pot Healer by, there's the man himself right there in a little teeny photo, by Philip K. Dick. Excited to have it. All right, so I have this ridiculously long Amazon wish list, which is just sort of anytime somebody recommends a book, I see a book out there on the internet or out there in the world, or I don't know, booktube videos and so on, wherever book recommendations appear, I'll just sort of go, okay, add that to that list. And those will stack up and stack up and stack up and stack up. Because there's only we don't have the unlimited budget, unfortunately. So I've got this really, really long list. And every once in a while on a Wednesday, what I'll do is I'll just zoom, and it takes forever. Boom, boom, all the way through. All the way through, all the way through. To the very end of that list. So books that I put on there the longest ago. And I don't even remember how many years. It's been years now since I've been keeping that list. So there's just a lot on there. I don't know the number. It doesn't matter. But in March, I decided go to the bottom of the list and see what's there. And this is where I came up with Freddys Book by John Gardner. And I got this old, obviously used. You can see the spine fading there. You can see that where it was faded here as well. Like things were stacked on top of that and so on. But otherwise in really pretty good shape, right? Hardcover with the dust jacket, which is always nice to get older books with the dust jacket. It just certainly looks like it's in great shape. Some gold foil on the case material. What is this? This was the oldest book on my super long Amazon wish list. That's all. I finally just ordered it. I honestly don't have any idea how or when this book came to my attention, when I put it onto that list, why I put it onto that list, who or where it said, hey, here's this book. But you know what? I trust my past self. Past Phil will not steer me wrong. There is something about Freddys Book by John Gardner that made me put it on the list, and it looks weird and cool. So there it is. It will go onto the shelf. It will be read. I don't buy books that I do not intend to read. Will I get to them in the next 40 years? Whatever. This one was kind of hard to find. I read an excerpt from this a few weeks ago online, and I don't know how that came to me. I don't, just literally just Googling science fiction authors. I don't even know. But this is Harry Harrison by, you guessed it, Harry Harrison. The great science fiction authors, autobiography, memoir, whatever you want to call it. Are those different in some way? I don't even know, honestly, what the difference between those things are. But that excerpt that I read definitely got me curious about reading the rest. And so I thought, well, just, go on Amazon and there it'll be. Well, no, right? It ended up being really, really hard to find this. And it wasn't super expensive or anything. I ended up getting it from Thrift Books, hence the obnoxious sticker there. And this is a former library edition, so it's got the library, plastic cover on, which is good, I guess, because it has, it's preserved the book really quite well, and it looks like it's in really great shape. I don't know that anyone ever checked it out, but it was withdrawn from the Johnson County Library. I don't know what state that was from, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is the hardcover, the only edition of a memoir by Harry Harrison called Harry Harrison, Harry Harrison. Fantastic. I'm always interested in books by artists, authors in particular, right? Talk to me about your process. Talk to me about your relationship with books, your relationship with the genres or genre, right? Very interested, again, based on the excerpt that I already read, very interested to hear what Harry Harrison has to say about a long career and a successful career as a science fiction writer. All right. I've also kind of in the last couple months or so kind of focused a little bit of my book buying on completing series. So I have series, I have X number of books of a X times 10 volume series, and there's holes all over the place. I'm missing this, I'm missing that. And I got in one of the book haul videos that you saw, because you watch all of my book haul videos, a copy of this, right? Which is Brack, When Idols Walked by John Jakes. And I don't even remember what number this was. This was the 4th book in the Brack series. I think there's only 4. Right? So anyway, I was like, well, this looks cool. And I thought, they can't be expensive, and they're not. It's not like some kind of super in-demand, vintage thing. So I'm like, hey man, why not complete the Brack series and have fun with that? They're short little books, obviously sword and sorcery, very Conan-inspired kind of stuff. So, from I don't remember where, it may have been eBay, comes Brack the Barbarian. This is book 1 in the series, and I am in this case looking for, because I have all the time in the world and they're not expensive, I am looking for the same editions, the same trade dresses, right? And you can find this in at least a couple. So this is the 1977 Pocketbooks edition. I don't think it was ever published in hardcover. Cover by Charles Mall. It was originally published by Avon in 1968, so this is really just 9 years later. Obviously writing that 1977, early D&D fantasy boom. So there you go. I now have the 1st and 4th books in the Brack series by John Jakes, and maybe you'll see another one in the April video. Oh. Possible. I do not know. So those were the 4 books I just bought straight up. That I bought on purpose, we'll say that. Then, just out of nowhere, and because it's been a terribly long time, because I have been not really doing a no-buy year, because that's impossible to do, let's be honest, but a kind of lower buy year, kind of a budget year. And so have been backing off from like the big eBay $250 boxes of books and stuff. And I've been backing off of the used bookstore, which, by the way, I hate. So eventually it was just like, we're okay. It's not like we're going to spend, $50,000. Let's just go to the used bookstore. And because I have on my phone a list of the books that I need to complete series, just like Brack, the Brack series, which I look for there. I've got other ones And so I was looking for those in the used bookstore, and I got them. Well, I got a few. I got a bunch of them. We're going to start with this one. Yeah, The Fabulous Riverboat by Philip Jose Farmer. This is the 6th printing. That's how, like, these books were selling in the day, right? Of the 1973 Berkeley Medallion paperback. Vincent DeFate cover, right? He's one of my guys. That was like, he was one of the artists that were all over the place during sort of Phil's formative paperback sci-fi book buying experience. Loving every second of it. This is the 2nd book in the series. So what causes Phil to go buy I shouldn't talk about myself in the third person, so I'll try not to anymore. But anyway, so this guy Phil that I met, right, as a Philip Jose Farmer fan who hasn't read enough and wants to read more, I found this big. Oh, they're ugly. I know. Like, what do you? Why? But it's a way to get a lot of kind of catalog books, older books, just kind of out into the world in these omnibus editions, which I appreciate. I mean, they are readable and they're great. The yellow, just kind of non-cover is a little boring, but whatever. So this includes The Maker of Universes, The Unreasoning Mask, and in the middle there, To Your Scattered Bodies Go, which is the first book in the River World series. So I've already got that. And was just kind of bought that because, it's good Philip Jose Farmer classics, right? Then, in one of those big eBay book hauls, which you've seen the video because you watch all of the videos here at this amazing YouTube channel, were 3 more of the 5 books River World series, right? So now I have the first one, and then the 3rd one, the 4th one, and the 5th one. So in order to complete that full series, I only needed the 2nd one, which was The Fabulous Riverboat. So now I have that. I have the complete River World series by Philip Jose Farmer. I know that this series gets kind of a mixed reviews. I don't care. I'm going to read books for myself and make my own decisions. Right? So anyway, this is cool. I'm doing complete the series, and it's working, and I feel like I'm doing something productive for the world. And anyway, I have in my collection already. I bought this when it was brand new. This is Kevin J. Anderson's Fantastic Voyage Microcosm, which is kind of a sequel. Oh, look at the foil cover; it's groovy. Of Fantastic Voyage, which was by Isaac Asimov. He actually wrote the novelization of the movie. So it was not a movie based on his book. It was his book based on the movie, which was written by somebody else. But I remember reading interviews with him where he basically said the science of Fantastic Voyage is when they shrink people down so small, and then they're in a little submarine and they drive around inside of a guy's body to perform like microsurgery. Love the movie. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie, oh my God. Right? It's just like one of those great, crazy old sci-fi movies. Really, really good. And I read this as a kid and loved it, of course. This was all during my entire Isaac Asimov phase. And then I found this out there and was like, because I already have this, right? Which was in the giant to be read pile that you saw me go through. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to read these back to back, right? It's the original and then the sequel. So I'm in the used bookstore and I run across, what the? Fantastic Voyage 2, Destination Brain by Isaac Asimov himself. Did not even know that this existed. And I saw this and it leaped off the shelf and it was like, ah, and then I bought it. 1988 Bantam Spectra, right? It was first published by Doubleday in hardcover. The year before that is 1988. This is the other fantastic Voyage book that Asimov wrote, his sequel to his novelization of the movie that I did not even know existed. Where the heck have I been? So now, anyway, here's the good news. I have now I believe all of the Fantastic Voyage books, right? The original Isaac Asimov novelization, his sequel, and then Kevin J. Anderson diving into that universe with a very much newer take on this. So if the second of Isaac Asimov's books were from 1988, this is from 2001, right? So we're getting really a nice 20-year spread on all these. So anyway, this is just definitely tickles the sci-fi collector guy and the completist, right? The series completist in me. So all of Fantastic Voyage. And this one I bought at the used bookstore in March just because I saw it and didn't know it was there. And of course, oh my goodness, if not me, who? If not right then, when? So also in one of those, was it in a book haul, or I think this may have just been in my giant to-be-read piles, the random to-be-read piles. For a long time, I have this copy of The Naked Sun by Isaac Asimov. We're staying in the Asimov for a minute here, so bear with me. And, don't even bear with me, because Isaac Asimov really was one of the preeminent science fiction authors of all time. Is he going to be dated? Is he going to be a little too much science and not enough fiction? Whatever, right? But as a kid, it was just Isaac Asimov going into my head all the time. So I had this copy of The Naked Sun, only to discover that it was a sequel, that it was the follow-up to Caves of Steel, which I found at the used bookstore, right? Which is pretty groovy. This is, okay, and another one, right? Did these books ever sell? Did anyone care? Who's this Isaac Asimov guy? No one cares. This is the 20th printing, right? So this little slim paperback went through at least 20 printings. That's actually a lot, y'all. That's a lot. Pretty cool, groovy cover there, right? John Berkey cover. And so Caves of Steel is the first in what became the Elijah Bailey R. Daniel Olivaw series, of which there are 4 books. So having gotten just, book number 2 somewhere out there at random, well, I had to go get book number 1. And then lo and behold, at the used bookstore was the last one, right? The 4th book in the series, Robots and Empire. This pretty groovy Del Rey edition with the Michael Whalen cover. Always happy to see Michael Whalen. So then all I need now, right, all I need to find in the meantime will be the Robots of Dawn. More on that later? I don't know. Maybe I found it on April. I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, now I have, again, in terms of the series, I have 3, 1, 2, and 4, and only missing the 3rd one, which is called Robots of Dawn. So the struggle continues. It's not really a struggle. I'm not really struggling with it. The process of finding a not really obscure Isaac Asimov mass market paperback continues. Anyway, then I also had other books on my list that were just sort of, why were they recommended to me? Where were they recommended to me? Who said, Phil, you should buy that? Or just in general, people, you should go buy that. And on my list that I keep on my phone was The Man in the Maze by Robert Silverberg. Having heard this was good, already being a Robert Silverberg fan, right? So it's, hey, have you read, oh, you like Robert Silverberg? Have you read The Man in the Maze? No, what? Okay, so there it is. Found this in 1983 Avon edition. Jim Burns cover. Love me the Jim Burns. Who doesn't love Jim Burns, right? How do you say no to this, right? But this is the only book, I believe it is a standalone, just a novel, all by itself. And so this is the only one that we will see today that will end up in the big giant random to be read pile, to be read at random sometime in the next 33 years. If you've seen those videos, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, what are you doing? I mean, okay. So then, speaking of Philip K. Dick, just at random at the store, well, you know what I mean. In the science fiction section under D, here was this Timescape copy of Confessions of a Crap Artist by Philip K. Dick. Look at it, it's a 2 Philip K. Dick day. Fantastic. Asimov is obviously winning the day, but Mr. Dick is here. He's here. I've also heard great things about this one too. Fun cover art by Carl Lundgren. These Timescape books have always been a little bit like, but like I said, I'm collecting up Philip K. Dick because I like Philip K. Dick and need to read more Philip K. Dick. The back is kind of boring, but there it is if you want to freeze that and read this stuff. Yeah, right? More Dick, please. And remember, it's not just about the sci-fi and fantasy here at Fantasy Author's Handbook. It's about books. It's about all books. I read on purpose, not just kind of like, I don't know what I would want, and I just find a book at random and I just read it. Kind of in some cases I do, but I'm trying to read lots of different stuff. And so when I saw this, what? 6 Plays of Clifford Odets in this fabulous old Modern Library edition. Modern Library were very cheap books, right? Meant to be, hey, just the everyday common human of the 50s or whenever can afford to buy these books, great classics of literature, etc. This retailed for, I'm putting my hand right over it, $2.45. So that was pretty cheap for a hardcover book. This is number 62 in the Modern Library series. I never find these. I found, so far this is the third one. The third Modern Library edition of anything that I have found with the dust jacket on. That's actually pretty rare. And anyway, this is super cool. I don't know exactly when this one was published. But it is no earlier than 1963. Probably could do a little bit more research on that. And if you know, and you're a Modern Library collector, or you bother to Google it or whatever, it's Modern Library number 67. The six plays of Clifford Odets. Let me know in the comments below when this was published, but again, no earlier than 63. Probably right around there, yeah. And it includes Waiting for Lefty, Awake and Sing, Golden Boy, Rocket to the Moon, Till the Day I Die, and Paradise Lost. 6 Plays of Clifford Odets. Super groovy. All right, so by now you know that I also love Science Fiction Book Club editions of anything, and I used to have so many more, and why I got rid of them I don't know, and I want to go back in time and get them back, but I can't. But I saw this one in the clearance section. Who's not going to pay $3 for Sanctuary? Right? Edited by Robert Lynn Asprand. Remember we talked about this in the anthology book haul because I got included in that big random box full of science fiction and fantasy anthologies and collections. A copy of Tales from the Vulgar Unicorn. And it is still in the big giant stacks of random books. I'm going to have to pull it out of there sooner or later. I think I'm just going to kind of leave it in there. Because I don't need to keep 2 copies of that. Because this, as we loved about the Science Fiction Book Club, there's nothing on the back cover. This is actually a collection, maps on the end papers, which is really nice for the SFBC, which these were not generally expensive fancy. These were cheap hardcovers. But this includes 3 of those shared world anthologies. Can we see this here? Thieves' World, Tales from the Vulgar Unicorn, and Shadows of Sanctuary. So my other, pretty beat up mass market copy of Tales of the Vulgar Unicorn will eventually go back out into the world, to the used bookstore place. I don't think it's not super collectible or valuable, so it's not going to be like something that I'm going to put on eBay. So anyway, but now I've got, when I'm ready to live the Thieves' World Sanctuary life, I've got those 3. And that's a lot of groovy shared world fantasy for $3 is what I paid for that. Dang it. Really? Come on. So for $1 for each of those, right, I've got those 3. I'm excited. Who doesn't love shared world fantasy? Go ahead and say you don't to my face. Anyway, big surprise to find on the $3 shelves. This is Someone Comes to Town, Someone Leaves Town by Cory Doctorow. Which is cool, right? In the hardcover with the dust jacket. Looks like it's in great shape. It kind of looks like no one's ever read it. And I always just kind of go like, oh, what's this, right? And I flip through. Diane, did you even read this? It's signed by the author for $3. Really? Now, again, Cory Doctorow isn't like, some international man of mystery. He's very much still alive and kicking and writing all the time. And he's all over the place and really has this huge career. Just, writing, not just science fiction, but writing about technology and so on. If you don't know who I'm talking about, like, where the heck have you even been? So this is not like the rare signature, like, oh my God, he found, a signed copy of Catcher in the Rye or something like that. But still, that's pretty cool, right? I'm always looking for the signed copies up there. I don't know who Diane is, but Diane's loss is my gain. He says there are only 2 stories. Someone comes to town, someone leaves town. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with that. So science fiction by Cory Doctorow in original hardcover, signed by the author, great shape, really just essentially brand new condition. Signed by the author for $3 because I'm a genius, because I go out into the world and I destroy it with my spectacularness. I have no idea what I'm talking about. These are the books that I found for myself, bought for myself, have gathered for my library in the month of March 2024. Plays, science fiction, fantasy, series, a memoir of a science fiction author. Oh my goodness, it's just everything that's great. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again actually really soon with the April stuff, including the April book haul, which has got some already groovy stuff, and April isn't even over yet. And then we are going to be talking about writing. I keep promising to do that. I keep getting really busy, and it keeps getting or staying hard to make lots of videos. But I will try. I'm going to really keep, trying to make sure that I'm posting more videos here. I'm saying goodbye for too long. This has been Phil. This has been Fantasy Author's Handbook. This has been the March 2024 book haul. Thank you for watching.